Welcome to Coins Old World U.S, the place where every coin tells a story and the smallest details can reveal hidden treasures. In this video, we are diving into one of the most fascinating coins in American numismatic history. First up, the 1982 United States 1-cent coin with no mint mark. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary penny that you've seen 1,000 times before. But 1982 is actually one of the most important years in the history of the U.S. penny. Not only did the composition of the coin change during this year, but several varieties were minted, and among them, some have become extremely collectible. So if you found a 1982 penny with no mint mark in your collection or pocket change, keep watching, because you might be holding onto a coin that's worth more than just 1 cent. Let's begin with why the year 1982 is so significant. It was during this year that the United States Mint made a major change in the composition of the 1-cent coin. Before 1982, pennies were made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gave them a heavier weight and a solid feel. But due to the rising cost of copper, it became more expensive to produce a penny than the coin was actually worth. As a result, the mint decided to switch the metal composition to a lighter and cheaper material, 97.5% zinc with a thin copper coating, which reduced the weight from 3.11 grams down to 2.5 grams. However, instead of switching overnight, the mint produced both types of pennies throughout 1982, resulting in several distinct varieties, a rare event in modern coinage. Now, let's talk specifically about the 1982 penny with no mint mark. The lack of a mint mark tells us that it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which historically did not place mint marks on coins until later years. In total, the Philadelphia Mint produced 7 different varieties of the 1982 penny, some made of copper, others of zinc, and with 2 different styles of numerals in the date, large date and small date. This means that if you have a 1982 penny with no mint mark, it could be one of several types, and the exact variety significantly affects its value. The easiest way to start identifying which variety you have is by checking the weight of your coin using a digital scale. If it weighs around 3.11 grams, you have a copper penny. If it weighs closer to 2.5 grams, then you're holding a zinc version. But that's not all, you also need to examine the style of the date. On the small date variety, the number 2 in 1982 is more curved, and the 8 appears more level with the rest of the numbers. On the large date, the numbers are thicker and the 8 sits higher. This distinction may seem small, but it makes a big difference in collector value. Among these varieties, one stands out, the 1982 D small date made of copper, which is from Denver and extremely rare, but since we're talking about no mint mark Philadelphia coins, the most valuable version for you is the 1982 small date copper penny with no mint mark. In average circulated condition, this coin is still worth about face value, maybe a few cents. But if you have one in uncirculated or near mint condition, it could be worth $500 to $1,500 or more depending on its state. Some high-grade examples, especially those graded by PCGS or NGC as MS65 or higher, have sold for $500 or even above $1,000 at auction. That's a huge leap from just 1 cent. Let's not forget about error coins, which are always a big hit with collectors. If your 1982 penny has unusual features like a double die, off-center strike, or planchet errors, you might be holding a rare variety worth much more. Some 1982 error pennies have sold for hundreds of dollars, especially if they are certified by a professional grading company. It's always a good idea to inspect your coin under a magnifier or take it to a local coin dealer for evaluation if you suspect an error. In summary, the 1982 USA 1-cent coin with no mint mark is far more than just a simple penny. It represents a major turning point in U.S. coin production, the shift from copper to zinc, and because of that, it comes in multiple varieties that collectors actively seek out. Whether your 1982 penny is copper or zinc, large date or small date, circulated or uncirculated, it's worth taking a closer look. It may not be rare in general, but specific varieties and conditions can make it surprisingly valuable. And the best part? You could still find one in your everyday change or among old coins lying around the house. Next up, the 1994 United States 1-cent coin with a D mint mark. This coin might seem ordinary at first glance, but like many pennies in American coinage, its details, mint mark, and condition can have a big impact on its value. Whether you're a casual collector or someone who checks their pocket change every day, the 1994 D penny is one to pay attention to, especially if it's in excellent condition or has rare error characteristics. Let's begin with the basics. The 1994 1-cent coin was minted during the presidency of Bill Clinton and carries the familiar design of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse and Abraham Lincoln's bust on the obverse. The obverse side, which features Lincoln's portrait, was designed by Victor David Brenner and has been a staple of the penny since 1909. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, created by Frank Gasparo. This design would remain on the penny until 2008, making the 1994 version part of the classic memorial series. The D Mint mark on this coin is located just below the year, 1994, on the obverse side and stands for the Denver Mint, one of the two main U.S. mints that produce circulating coins, the other being Philadelphia. In 1994, the Denver Mint produced a huge number of pennies, over 7 billion in total. That means the 1994 D penny is not a rare coin in terms of mintage. In fact, it's one of the most common pennies from the 1990s. However, that doesn't mean it's worthless. The real difference in value comes from the coin's condition, grade, and any minting errors that might be present. In circulated condition, the 1994 D penny is generally worth just 1 cent, its face value. That's because millions of these coins are still in use today, and unless a coin is in exceptional condition or has unique qualities, it won't command a high price. However, if you have a mint state example, especially one graded MS 65 or higher, the value begins to rise. Collectors look for coins that are bright, shiny, and show no signs of wear. A 1994 D penny in MS 65 condition can be worth around $2,000 to $5,000, while examples graded MS 67 or better by PCGS or NGC can sell for $1,500 to $5,000 or even more, depending on market demand and visual appeal. Another aspect that can make your 1994 D penny more valuable is the presence of errors or varieties. Error coins can occur when something goes wrong during the minting process. For example, if your penny has a double die error, off-center strike, die crack, or was struck on an incorrect planchet, it could be worth significantly more. Some of these errors from 1994 have been known to sell for $10,000 to several $100 depending on the type of error and how visible it is. Always use a magnifying glass to examine your coins closely, especially around the lettering, date, and Lincoln's profile. That's often where doubling or flaws can appear. Also important is how you store or find your coins. A 1994 D penny that's been sitting untouched in a coin album or sealed roll may be in much better shape than one found in everyday pocket change. If you believe your coin is in high grade or may have a unique error, consider getting it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC, as that can significantly boost its appeal and resale value in the collector's market. So in summary, while the 1994 D Lincoln penny is not rare by itself, its value increases based on condition, grading, and potential errors. A basic worn coin may still be worth just 1 cent, but a shiny, uncirculated one in top condition or with a rare error could sell for many dollars. It's always worth taking a second look at even the most common coins, and that's what makes coin collecting so exciting. Each coin carries a piece of history, and sometimes, a surprise in value that most people overlook. Next up, the 1975 United States 1-cent coin with no mint mark. While this penny may look ordinary at first glance, its history, design, composition, and potential collector value make it a coin worth exploring, especially if it's in good condition or features something unusual. If you're a coin collector, hobbyist, or simply someone curious about the coins in your pocket change, this video will give you everything you need to know about the 1975 no mint mark penny and its value in today's market. Let's begin with the basics. The 1975 penny features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front side, of the coin. This portrait was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and it was designed by the Lithuanian-American sculptor Victor David Brenner. The design became instantly popular and remains on the penny to this day. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was added in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This design was created by Frank Gasparo, and it remained on the back of the penny until 2008. Now let's talk about the mint mark, or in this case, the lack of one. The 1975 penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which at the time did not use a mint mark on its 1-cent coins. This is why your 1975 penny might look a little plain under the date. But don't worry, it's not an error. It's simply a Philadelphia issue, and it's completely normal. In 1975, the Philadelphia Mint struck more than 5.4 billion pennies, making this coin fairly common in terms of mintage. However, this doesn't mean that all 1975 no-mint mark pennies are worthless. On the contrary, certain examples in high-grade condition can carry significant value among collectors. Most circulated 1975 no-mint mark pennies are worth just 1 cent, their face value, because they're so widely available. However, if your coin is in brilliant uncirculated condition, it can be worth much more. Coins that have never been used and have no visible wear are considered in mint state. A 1975 penny graded MS-63 to MS-65 can typically sell for $2,000 to $5,000 depending on the luster, color, and eye appeal. Higher grade examples, those graded MS-66 or MS-67, can command prices between $2,500 and $3,500, especially if certified by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Red pennies, which have maintained their original copper coloring, are generally more valuable than brown or toned versions. What also makes some 1975 pennies more desirable is the presence of minting errors. These include double die obverse, off-center strikes, die cracks, and clipped planchets. If you notice anything unusual about the lettering, numbers, or Lincoln's face under magnification, you might have a valuable error coin. Some 1975 error pennies have sold for hundreds of dollars at auction, especially those with clearly visible doubling or striking mistakes. This is why it's always a great idea to examine your coins closely. A coin you thought was common could actually be a rare variety. It's also important to note that pennies minted before 1982, including the 1975 no-mint mark penny, were made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. This gives them a heavier weight of about 3.11 grams compared to modern pennies, which are mostly zinc. Because of the copper content, the metal value alone of a 1975 penny is slightly more than 1 cent, although it's illegal to melt pennies for their metal value. Still, this copper composition makes these older coins more attractive to collectors who value traditional coinage. In summary, the 1975 1-cent coin with no mint mark is a widely circulated and historically significant piece of American coinage. While most are worth only their face value, those in excellent uncirculated condition or with rare minting errors can be worth several dollars or more in today's market. Whether you're a beginner just starting your coin collection or a seasoned collector hunting for high-grade examples, the 1975 penny is a great coin to have in your set, both for its design and the potential hidden value it carries. Next up, the 1990 United States 1-cent coin with no mint mark. At first glance, this might seem like an ordinary Lincoln penny, something you'd find easily in everyday pocket change. But the 1990 no-mint mark penny has an interesting background that every coin collector should be aware of, from its massive mintage numbers to the rare variety that could turn 1 cent into hundreds of dollars. Let's start with the design and features. The 1990 penny continues the long-standing tradition of featuring Abraham Lincoln's bust on the obverse, or front side of the coin. This portrait was originally introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and was designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, you'll see the image of the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 by Frank Gasparo to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday. This memorial design remained in use until 2008, making the 1990 penny part of that iconic era of American coinage. Now, about that missing mint mark. If your 1990 penny has no mint mark, it was most likely struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During that time, the Philadelphia Mint typically did not use a mint mark on its 1-cent coins. So the absence of a mint mark in 1990 was entirely normal for Philadelphia issues. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 6.8 billion pennies in 1990 without a mint mark, which makes this coin extremely common in circulated condition. If you have one in your change, it's likely worth just its face value of 1 cent, but don't stop there, because there's a twist. Here's where things get interesting. There is a rare 1990 no S proof penny that was mistakenly struck without the S mint mark at the San Francisco Mint, which was supposed to produce proof coins with the S mark. This proof error coin was never meant to enter circulation, and only a small number were ever made before the error was caught. Unlike the regular Philadelphia no mint mark coin, this proof coin has an extremely high-quality mirror-like finish and was intended for collectors. If you happen to come across one of these extremely rare 1990 no S proof pennies, you could be looking at a value of $1,500 to $5,000 or even more, depending on its condition and grading. Most of these were discovered in official US mint-proof sets, so it's very unlikely you'll find one in pocket change, but if you ever come across a 1990 penny with a proof-like finish and no mint mark, get it checked immediately. Even among regular 1990 no mint mark pennies, the value can still increase depending on condition. A coin that is uncirculated and in mint state, especially one graded MS 65 or higher, can fetch a small premium from collectors. In mint state red condition, a 1990 penny without a mint mark can be worth around $1,000 to $5,000, and higher grades like MS 67 or MS 68 can be worth $10 to $30 or more. While it's not a fortune, it's certainly more than just 1 cent. And if your coin has unique error features like doubling, off-center strikes, die cracks, or clipped planchets, its value could go even higher depending on the severity and rarity of the error. To determine whether your coin has any added value, use a magnifier to closely inspect the lettering, date, and details of Lincoln's bust. A clear strike, deep luster, and no signs of wear are signs of a higher grade coin. If you suspect your coin might be in error or in very high condition, you may want to consider sending it to a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC for official certification. Coins with certified grades often sell for more and are easier to resell to serious collectors. In conclusion, the 1990 USA 1-cent coin with no mint mark is a widely circulated and common coin in average condition. But its story doesn't end there. If you find one in brilliant uncirculated condition or discover a coin with a rare mint error, its value can jump significantly. And while the true treasure is the rare 1990 no-S proof penny, a holy grail among modern errors, even standard versions have their place in the collection of anyone interested in American coin history. So check your change in those old coin jars, because even in a sea of common pennies, a hidden gem could be waiting for you. Next up, the 1989 USA 1-cent coin with no mint mark. At first glance, this penny may seem like just another common coin that's been sitting in your pocket or change jar for years. But every coin has a story, and today we'll uncover the key facts behind the 1989 Lincoln cent, including how it was made, what the absence of a mint mark means, and what this coin is worth in good condition in today's coin market. Let's begin with the design. The obverse of the 1989 1-cent coin features the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner, a design that has remained a cornerstone of U.S. coinage since 1909. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo that was used from 1959 through 2008. This reverse not only showcases the monument but, if you look closely, includes a tiny depiction of the seated Lincoln statue inside the memorial, a unique detail that adds to the coin's charm. Now let's talk about the minting. If your 1989 penny has no mint mark, that simply means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. For Lincoln cents, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark until much later, specifically in 2017 for the first time. So, any 1-cent coin dated 1989 without a mint mark is a normal and authentic Philadelphia issue. In that year, over 7.3 billion Lincoln cents were produced at the Philadelphia Mint alone, making this coin extremely common in circulation. In terms of metal composition, the 1989 penny was made from 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, a standard composition that had been in place since the mid-1980s, following the change from copper to zinc in 1982. These coins are lightweight, weighing approximately 2.5 grams, and can easily be distinguished from older copper cents by this weight difference. Although they're not particularly rare, 1989 pennies still hold interest for collectors, especially those looking to complete date and mint mark sets. The first major factor that can increase the value of your 1989 penny is its condition. Most circulated examples show wear and tear, but if you find one in mint state condition, especially with original red luster and no signs of wear, it becomes much more desirable to collectors. A 1989 penny graded MS 65 red can be worth around $5,000 to $10,000, and if you have a higher graded example, like MS 67, it could fetch $2,500 to $5,000 or more, especially if graded by top-tier services like PCGS or NGC. The color also plays a role. Collectors often prefer red coins over brown or red-brown, and red coins are typically those stored carefully since minting. Another exciting aspect to look out for is minting errors or varieties. While rare, some 1989 pennies have been found with doubling in the date or lettering, off-center strikes, or even die cracks. These error coins can be worth anywhere from $20 to several $100s, depending on the type and severity of the error. If you suspect that your 1989 no mint mark penny might have an error, it's worth examining the coin closely with a magnifier or loupe. Key places to inspect include Lincoln's eyes, the date, and the word Liberty. If you see doubling or any misalignment in the strike, it could be something valuable. It's also important to know the composition of this coin. Although Lincoln pennies before 1982 were made of 95% copper, the 1989 penny is made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, using a copper-plated zinc planchet. This change was made by the U.S. Mint in 1982 to reduce costs. The result is a lighter coin that weighs only 2.5 grams, compared to the older copper version which weighed 3.11 grams. This change also makes the coin more prone to corrosion and damage, which is why high-grade examples are harder to find, and why they're more valuable when discovered in pristine condition. In conclusion, the 1989 United States 1-cent coin with no mint mark is not considered rare, but like many other coins, its true value depends on condition, grade, and the presence of any errors. While most examples in circulation are worth just 1 cent, uncirculated and certified coins can sell for several dollars, and rare errors can bring in hundreds of dollars at auction. Whether you're a beginner learning the ropes of coin collecting or an experienced hobbyist searching for that next gem, the 1989 penny is an important coin to know about, and definitely worth checking closely before you toss it into your change jar. Thanks for watching Coins Old World US. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the coins in your collection, or even the ones in your wallet, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. We're here to bring you the latest info on coin values, hidden rarities, and real tips from the world of coin collecting. Until next time, keep your eyes on your change, because you never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight.